Hello. Hello, hello. This is my Warmup conversion. I don't play it very much. And I'm like, oh, man, I should play this more. It needs a little bit of love, but... It's weird. Something that I forgot about with the conversions. This is a Warmup tele conversion, clearly. But yeah, compared to a purpose-built baritone, the necks are kind of like a little further out. And I find myself wanting to always play like 2 frets higher. So that's something I sort of forgot about. It's been a little while. It's been a minute since I played this guitar. I don't know if that's coming through. It should be coming through. Should be coming through the stream here, but yeah, a few of you already hanging. Nice to see y'all. Payphone, Apoplexia, Ike. How you doing, Ike? Welcome, Ike, from Baritone Guitars Group. Nice to see you here. Still trying to rebuild your looted studio insurance claiming process. Holy jumping. I'm sorry about that, but you know, Godspeed and best of luck in terms of getting back on your feet with that, because that's a tough thing to deal with, but thankfully you have insurance. Beard Guy, hello my dude, how are you? Ike, the Southern Ontario temperatures, yeah, it was nice today. It was really nice. It's like sunny and warm, and it seems as though that trend is continuing forward, which is beautiful. Beard Guy, hello. I am well. I hope you are well. Black Cap, good to see you in the stream. Excuse me. I haven't even started drinking the Liquid Death, and I'm already burping and gassy. Apologies. I haven't burped all day. Black Cap asks, any nut issues? Brought mine to a tech and they had to install a completely new nut. Lame. Yeah, sometimes nuts are not, you know, they're a temperamental thing, organic kind of thing. You kind of got to get it right off the top. And the thing about a nut is they are best installed with the guitar in a fully functioning state. Installing nuts onto blank necks with no reference to what's going on with the strings and the setup and all that kind of stuff is a little bit of a kind of doing it blind. It's best to install a nut when the guitar is pretty much ready to go. But thankfully it's going to work out for you, Black Cap, because it could just not work out at all, and that would really stink. So I'm stoked it's actually, something's working. Like they've figured it out and they can fix it. Jim J, what's up? I hope you are well. All is jamming here. What's up is we're talking about guitars today, because we never talk about guitars on this channel. Hot nut talk. Yeah, salty hot nut talk. You know, salty in that nuts aren't working, you know, bad salty. Nick Hill. Connor, how are you? It's coming through a little loud in your opinion. Oh, well, we can turn it down because it's friggin' cranked. It's really quiet in my headphones. How is that? Connor, sorry. Now it's really quiet in my headphones. It doesn't need to be loud though, because today is not about playing guitar really. Well, it's always about playing guitar, but it's not, I'm not doing no show or nothing. Yeah. I notice on this neck, I need to level the frets, a few frets. And so there's certain notes that are just noisier when you fret them. Like that. That's a noisy note. That note isn't great. That note's not great. Yeah. There's some tuning stuff going on there. Anyway, yeah, today it's a bunch of folks jamming here, so we'll kind of get at it. Hope everybody is well. Tyler Adams, how are you? Anthony Nito, Tim Wheeler, Black Cap Gear Stuff and Things. Good to see you. Gear Stuff and Things also has a baritone oriented channel for those of you who are into the baritone stuffs. Check out his channel, please. And Baritone Cult may join us at some point this evening, and it's also another great baritone channel. And whatchamacallit, Ike Stoddard is currently a mod of the baritone guitar group. So talk to him if you're interested in a baritone guitar stuff. Getting into that group and such. Ike asks, which distortion am I using? It is the Rev Red in the Helix, but Rev Red and I believe the Horizon Devices Overdrive, and a whole lot of high and low pass. Something's up there. That sounds right. Yeah, frets need some work. Anyway, we're talking about these guitars here today, talking all about baritone conversion necks, kits for baritone guitars, and mods to existing instruments to get into the baritone game and maybe take it to the limit, to the baritone limit. And a few more hellos here. Aiden, how are you? Hope you are well. Anthony Nito already said hello. Tyler, I think I already said hello, but if not, hello to both of you again. John, how are you? Zigzag, good to capo, good tip. Yeah, I do have a capo. Tyler Adams and I have been talking a lot about cool capo stuff. But Zigzag, hope you are well. It's good. Nick Hill, you're such a prince. Thank you, brother. Love you, man. Connor says the volume is great now. So the answer to my woes is turn up the headphones. But then my voice is really loud in the headphones, and then I speak really quietly on the mic. Oh my Lord, the difficulties. Chuggalicious. Something's... Anyway, we're going to get into the topic here. Abralog, am I saying that right? Abalrog? Ibelrog? How are you? I hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Baritone Cult, there you are. I was just bigging you up. Baritone Cult, another great baritone channel here on YouTube. Check out more baritone content that does a lot in terms of the use of baritone guitars with other gear. and so does Gear Stuff and Things do such things. Every channel's got its own little sauce. But yeah, some other great channels going on and hanging out in the group. Remco, hope you are well. Triodes, hope you are well. Best octave pedal for super low bass. Bass like bass guitar, or octave pedal for a guitar to make it super low. If you could clarify, I might be able to help you, or someone in the stream will help you. Our Awer, hope you are well. All is jamming with you. And just a little reminder of Bunn streams is that all of you folks in the comments, you can hang out with each other, and we'll do a little example here. Hello at Ike. And if you go at symbol and start typing a person's username, it'll just pop up and you can say hello to them, and they'll see that you're saying hello to them. Or if they're asking a question you know the answer to, maybe you can get a conversation going about your interests or questions or whatever the case may be. This is a place to make friends, and that's the way you do it. At symbol, username, and it should pop up and you can talk amongst each other. Triodes, bass guitar. So an octave pedal for a bass guitar they all kind of work in different ways. I don't do that. There's been a lot of questions lately as to how to get the bass guitar an octave below for these super low tunings. Like if you have a baritone guitar or a bass 6 tuned down to low E standard, E1 standard, a lot of people are like, how do I get the bass an octave below that? Well, I typically stay out of those conversations because I don't see a clear road to good results. So I tend to focus on this channel with things that work as best as possible. So maybe in the future, I'll have better insight on that. But at the moment, I don't have good insight into that topic, unfortunately. But maybe somebody else in the stream has experimented with that significantly and might be able to share some of their findings. So we're going to get into it. Baritone conversions, kits, and mods. My pal Nick Hill, he's in the stream right now. He's right in the midst of doing a baritone conversion. He's doing something very similar to this. Where's the mic? There's the mic. But this here is a Telecaster conversion with a Warmup baritone neck, and this is a standard Telecaster conversion neck. 28.625 inches in scale from the standard Telecaster 25.5 inches in scale. And a lot of people ask, how do the baritone conversion necks work? Well, if the neck is built for the guitar, in a lot of cases, it's a Fender spec, and it has to be a Fender 25.5 inch spec guitar. They're shorter Mustangs and stuff like that. It doesn't work because those are short scale guitars. But if you have a 25.5 Fender guitar with a spec, a standard spec neck pocket, a lot of baritone conversion necks will work. And we're going to go through a bunch of them. And so we're going to do conversions, kits, and then mods. Three sections of how to, kind of get into the DIY of it all. Or maybe you're going to just buy the things and bring it to a tech. A lot of people do that and don't feel weird about that process. Like some people are like, oh, they don't want to share that that's what they're doing because they feel like they're cheating or something. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Yeah, the conversion necks that we're talking about are generally for Fender spec guitar, Fender 25.5 inch scale guitars, and to convert them into greater scale length, into a longer scale length. And some of those 25.5. So for an example, the Fender Squier Affinity series, the original Affinity series, I don't know about now. I don't even know if that series still exists, but the Affinity series for a significant amount of time, if not forever, the necks it doesn't fit. I think the hole pattern is different and maybe the neck pocket size is different. So you want to make sure that you have a standard Fender neck pocket for this stuff to work in terms of the conversion necks. There are other manufacturers that adhere to the Fender neck pocket spec. The difficulty there, so there are some Ibanez guitars where the neck pocket and hole pattern is the same as certain Fenders. But the difficulty there is how does Ibanez mount the neck so that the math works out to the bridge? That part, if you're going to go with Fender spec bodies, neck pockets, etc., you don't have to worry about that. But if you're going to try and DIY something, try and force something to work, you have to think about those things. Doesn't mean that they won't work, but you just got to do a lot of measurements and a lot of research to make sure that you're not making, throwing a bunch of money away on a very expensive neck. This neck was $700 in Canada. So it was not a cheap experience for me. Obviously $700 US is about $30. So, if you live in the US, it's not $30. But anyway, yeah, Canadian dollars don't go as far as US dollars. So if you're in the US, some of these things are going to be a little bit more tangible in terms of the cost and whatnot. But anyhow, conversion necks. I shared this, let's see here. I shared in the description of the video, but I'm going to share it in the feed here. If you guys want to access this document with all the links that I have. And so you can use it to do your research if you wanted to get into this stuff. You can also use it to follow along in the video if you like. If you have a double screen setup or a wide enough screen. I have an ultra wide screen, so I can it's not quite wide enough, but I'm going to make it work. But this here link is all the links that we're going to be talking about if you want to follow along. So we're going to jump over to desktop right. Bam. So this is the document I'm talking about. So we can follow along. So conversion necks is the first thing on the list, and we're going to just briefly talk about each one. All parts is a very famous thing. If you're planning on doing a conversion neck, all parts is very popular, but it's 27.78 inches in scale, possibly 27.75. Sometimes the list specs are not exactly to the actual specs. It's always a good idea to measure after the fact. Hopefully it's accurate, but yeah, they list as 27.78 inches in scale, and they have direct replacements for Fender, Strat, and Telecaster necks to convert up to 27.78. And we can take a look at one of them. Oh, here we go. Bam. And yeah, there's not much to see here. Something to consider with these necks is the truss rod adjustment is in the heel. And if you don't like, taking your neck off to do your truss rod adjustment, this is not the neck for you. So this guitar here, I don't know if I'm in the frame. Let's go back here for a second. Main camera. So this conversion, can you see that? No, you can't see it. But the truss rod adjustment is here. And so for me to adjust it, I have to take the neck off, which is a bummer. I don't like doing that ever. I do it, because that's the only option I have. But if you're not hip to that, and I don't know about you guys, but for me, all of my guitars, I have to adjust the truss rod at least every season. Occasionally more if there's a huge fluctuation in humidity in any given season. So if the truss rod adjustment is at the nut, something to look into if you're doing a baritone conversion, and you're not hip to taking the neck off to do the truss rod adjustment, skip on that. Find another one. And thankfully, we have this crazy list with a lot of options. So they have, they're also available, the all parts stuff, through Stratosphere. And Stratosphere is just a popular reseller of stuff. Sometimes it's cheaper at Stratosphere, $269 US and $270. Yeah, it's $1 cheaper. Big deal. Am I speaking with a Canadian accent? I am. Oh, what's going on in these here comments? Holy jeepers. Mouse Does Music. Thank you. Fat album voice. I loved that show. Spaghetti Man, the Globetrotters. Oh, Spaghetti Man was the best. But anyhow, so just I'm going to focus on the topic here for a bit. Comments are awesome. Thank you very much for the super stickers and all that kind of stuff. If you want to help the show out, by the way, there's the super chats, super stickers, and they help my doing all of this stuff out a great deal. Like, it's what allows me to do it all. So that's amazing. Anybody who wants to help out, if you don't want to help out, that's totally cool. There's also links in the description for other ways to help out. So that's all good. But in between each point, there are 3 points in every show. In between each point, we talk about in the comments, and that is where I'll from now on kind of address the hellos and whatnot and the thank you and all that kind of stuff for the stickers and all that. So I'm going to stick to the topic here. So let's go. Bam. So Byo Guitars is next on the list. I've had very mixed, I talked to a lot of people, and it's very, very mixed. Not results, very mixed feelings about Byo. I have not purchased from them, but I do know people who have bought the all parts necks, and they're fine. And there's never been a bummer situation for anyone that I know, but mixed feelings on the Byo necks. Not sure. You're never really sure, like, kind of how much a person knows about doing the conversion and setting up and all that kind of stuff. So there could be some of that going on, but they do have 2 options, 27 and 3 3/4 essentially, and 28-inch scale. Fits Fender neck pockets specifically. We already covered that, but electrical guitar company is next on the list. This one's an interesting one. A lot of conflicting information here. So let's check out electrical guitar company. And it is, where do we want to go? If you go here, FAQ. FAQ, can you build a neck to put on my existing guitar body? Why not? So they say, no, we stopped doing that in 2014. That was custom orders, like custom neck conversions. And then, do you have any necks for sale that I can attach to my existing body? And they also say in here, no, EGC stopped producing bolt-on necks in 2014. But then, if we go to news media here, 2018, March 2018, all like 3 years ago, 4 years ago? I don't know. 3 years ago. We got all these conversion necks and F-style heel. So that's Fender style. So they are still doing batches of necks. They do limited batches of necks. This is an older post, but this post is after what they say in their FAQ. And I do see on Reverb quite frequently EGC necks show up, new batches. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but for those of you who don't know, EGC does 27.5, 27.77, and whatchamacallit, which is a weird, I don't know if that spec still exists. But anyway, 27.5 and 30 for sure. And, you know, they're aluminum. So that's amazing. I don't know about this custom order 1 to 6 month wait time thing. I'm not sure. The information is, the best thing to do is contact them. If you want an aluminum neck, aluminum baritone neck, contact EGC and they'll very quickly say what's up. But awesome products. Expensive, but amazing. Steven from Gear Stuff and Things in the chat has a few EGCs, and I believe Baritone Cult also has an EGC Jazzmaster. So if you want to talk to people who have the electrical guitar company EGC stuff, they are good people to talk to. Next is Warmup. I'm pretty sure nobody is new to Warmup. Navigating the Warmup thing, there's a little bit to know here. And the best place to go is Guitar Necks, and then go view all guitar neck models, go down to the baritone neck, baritone conversion scale section. And these are the necks that are available. These two right here, the Strat and the Tele standard, those have headstock, or those have truss rod adjustment at the heel. So the truss rod adjustment is down here. Bam. Not up here, as you can see very clearly. I know the camera is very small right there, but there's no, it's covered, but there's no truss rod adjustment at the nut. So if you're not comfortable, if you're not comfortable taking the neck off to do a truss rod adjustment, steer clear of the Strat and Tele conversion necks. These particular ones from Warmup. They are 28.58 or 28.625 inches in scale. But the angled Strat headstock does have the truss rod adjustment at the nut. And so do the rest of these. These are all angled back headstocks. And they all have the adjustment at the nut. So if that's the kind of adjustment you want, get anything but the classics. Anyway, we're going to move along here. There's not too much more. WD, another maker of Strat and Tele necks, 28-inch scale. Don't know anyone who has used one off the top of my head. But they're 28 inches in scale. I don't know how accurate they are with their listings. That's another thing. Because I don't know anyone who has them, I don't know anything about them practically. I just know that they've been in this game for a long time. They offer rosewood and maple, and the price is pretty good, But, it looks as though, let's see here. It looks as though the truss rod adjustment is at the nut. Does it say specifications? Here we go. Truss rod location, headstock. Bam. There we go. So what is there? Does it say? Does not say. Looking for their actual measurement for the scale length conversion. Some people list 28 and it's actually 27.5, like Eastwood Guitars. They do various batches of guitars, and some will be 27.5, some will be 28, some will be 27.75. And because they get them made in different factories all the time. And they just list it as 28 always. And I don't know if you're like me, that little bit of scale difference is a big difference for me. But some people are not so picky. You know who you are. So just keep that in mind. Another option here, this is a totally custom option, is Dude Craft Guitars. And by the way, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to try and keep up with this a bunch. Bam. Because if you're like, what are all these links? Where are they coming from? How do I keep up? Well, you can keep up by this link and you can have this list up in front of you as well. Cosman, thank you for the super sticker. Stoked is a choice. Be stoked. I like being stoked. I think most people like being stoked. But Dude Craft Guitars, they are a custom guitar company out of California. And Mr. James Nelson is a fantastic human being. He is in the Baritone Obsessed group. baritoneobsessed.com gets you there. You got to answer some questions to get in, but yeah, you can, send Dude Craft a message here or through there or wherever. And he builds custom 12-string baritones. He builds custom guitars, but he's famous for his 12-string baritones. And he also will do custom guitar necks. So if you have a guitar that is not a Fender, like I want a conversion neck for whatever scale length, he might be able to help you. He has mentioned many times that he is interested in doing these things. So drop him a message and be like, Captain James Nelson, I would like a conversion neck. And he'd be like, oh, I like making conversion necks. You may have to send the body to him though, which makes perfect sense to get a really good fit, a really good spec. But yeah, that is a thing that you can do. Dude Craft. And now moving out, if you've noticed here, the first bunch of these are all North American. We got a few from other places out here in the world. So, Aleph Guitars, Israel. So I have no experience with any of these. I'm not going to really get into them because I don't know anyone who's used their products, and I don't have anything that I can add to the conversation about their products. But it is a resource if you're in Europe or Israel or, anywhere near any of these places and you're not in North America, this might be something to look into. But like I say, do some research, send a lot of emails, try and be nice, because if you're nice, you usually get nice responses. But yeah, if you download this, or not download, download. The link is in there. I'm going to paste it one more time here. The link to this list is in the stream. I'm going to just keep pasting it. If you want to follow along or if you want to research these things in your own time. But we're going to move along to conversion kits next. But before that, we're going to just hang out in the comments a little bit. And for those of you just joining us, we're talking about, DIYing the baritone guitar thing. And I haven't played this guitar for a long time. I'm like, I need to play it more because it's beautiful. That's a great chord. So this was a Tele Squire 72 vintage modified hybrid thing. It was already cut for humbuckers. That's why I got it. I'm like, as much as I love single coil, what I want to do is gainy and I don't want to deal with the noise. So anyway, but yeah, I put a Warmup neck on it. For those of you just joining us, and we're talking all about conversions and conversion necks, conversion kits, modding guitars for these purposes of going super low. I have this guitar tuned to G1 standard, G1 standard. And the Alumitone pickups have a real bow wow to it. Especially if you hit hard. I can't play. Trying to hit too hard because I want more bow wow wow. But yeah, baritone conversions. So the first section was you know, all the necks, all the conversion necks. But just gonna jump into the comments here for a quick bit before we get to the next part of the next point in the topic. Aiden Hiller, how are you? Good to see you in the stream. Rob Howe, good to see you. Anyone else new? Tom Dilly, good to see you. Cosman, thanks again for the super sticker, man. Yeah, be stoked. John Toth, good to see you. And yeah, I think it's mostly caught up at the moment. Remco, I think I already said hello. Benoise, Benoisy. Never sure, some of these usernames are tricky, but hope you guys are very, very good, having an awesome evening or day wherever you are on this globe. Glass Realms, hello. Alexis, hello. And Felipe, good to see you. Ian Gorey, my brother. My brother from another mother. Miles does music thick. Yeah. I don't know. I can barely hear it. Like, I have to have it quiet because apparently it's like loud in the stream, but it's quiet in the headphones. So I don't even know what's going on. But yeah, glad it's thick, I guess. Nick, Baritone call. I'm grabbing a Warmup conversion when I can afford it. So yeah, Nick Hill is in the midst of doing a conversion right now. Great time to kind of like get a conversation going with him. Nick Hill runs the YouTube channel. Nick Hill Makes Music. If you're not familiar with that channel, it's a great channel. And he's in the midst of doing a parts guitar. So it's not really a conversion. He's bought a Telecaster body, and he's gonna buy all the parts and put it together, which is not that different than a conversion, but he's not converting an existing guitar, which you can go about it both ways. I had this Tele and I converted it, but if I do it again, I'm just going to do the same thing, a parts guitar. Steven from Gear Stuff and Things does parts guitars like crazy, and they're gorgeous. Black Cap, I couldn't be able to tell the tale of the tech who did a poor, incomplete setup on that when you got it. Yeah. So something about techs, if you're going to bring your guitar to a tech, like you say, you're going to get a bunch of parts, get it put together by a tech and set up by a tech. Perfectly reasonable thing to do. You don't have to do it all by yourself, although it's an amazing learning experience. My pal Finn, he's over in Norway, and he's in the Baritone Obsessed Facebook group. baritoneobsessed.com gets you there if you're not familiar with the group. But whatchamacallit, he's done quite a few parts guitars and kit guitars, and he's kind of chalked it up to like a learning experience. He's like, I want to learn more about all of this kind of stuff. He does mostly kits. We're going to get into kits next. But yeah, on techs, like getting a tech to do this, a lot of techs are going to be weird with the baritone thing for some reason. I don't know why, because the baritone guitar is just a guitar. There's nothing special about it other than it's just a little bit longer. But the setup is pretty much the same. The only difference in the setup is maybe there's just a hair higher action, just a hair, not even like anything really to speak of. And I still go for super low action on my baritones because I don't know, I don't want to press. So yeah, there's something weird about a lot of techs, and they're like, I don't get this baritone thing, or they don't understand. I've had a tech, I've told these stories many times, but had a tech where he's like, okay, great, I'm going to do your setup, all that kind of stuff. What is the tuning? I'm like, it's, G1 standard. And they're like, oh, what is that? I'm like, oh, it's just standard. And he's like, what? I'm like, tuned in fourths. The second and the third, or a third apart, and the rest of the guitar's tuned in fourths. And he's like, huh? he's like, can you write it down? I was like, ooh, am I going to leave my guitar here? So Black Cap brings up a good point with, you know, be discerning about choosing a tech, and it might be worth just muscling through it and slowly trying to learn it all yourself. The thing about working on guitars is it's not that technical. It just takes patience and maybe a slow moving. So if you can maybe just drink less coffees that day. But yeah, we're gonna get into the comments full time after the last point here. There's only 2 more points to cover, but yeah, good points. Thank you, Black Cap, for sort of sharing and kind of reminding about that topic. The tech. Be discerning about choosing a tech. Did I just see a thing from Anthony Nito? Friday Night Chugs. So dumb. But yeah, chugs are amazing though. Like, you don't have to do anything, just chug, and you're like, I'm so satisfied right now. But we're gonna get back to the points here. Kits is next. Desktop right, bam. Once again, if you're like, what's up with this? Oh, wait a minute, did it go? Yeah, desktop right. Yeah, okay, good. If you're like, what's up with this list, Bunn? Where, like, how can I look at that list and, you know, click those links? Well, the link is in the description or in the chat. You click that link, you'll be able to get to this here list, and you can use all these links for your own research. And also you can follow along while we're doing all this. So next we are going into conversion kits. This is what I know of in terms of conversion kit, or not conversion kits. They're not really conversions at all. They're just kits. Let's, you know, I'm going to do this right now because it's confusing. Kits, baritone kits. Great. So let's do that. So kits, Warmup doesn't do a sort of a complete kit, but they do something of a kit. And what it is, let's take a look at it here. Bam. And it is the bass 6 guitar neck. But the reason why it's in the kits category is because the Warmup baritone or bass 6 neck only fits on their bass 6 body. They don't have a Fender conversion model. So you got to use their body, their neck, and there you go. You pick all your parts. So it's in the kits category because of that. You can buy the 2 things separately. Like, you don't have to buy it as a kit, but they only work with each other. And it says right here, actually, bam, only compatible with Warmup bass 6 bodies. So the warning's right there. But yeah, 30-inch scale. I think it's 30. Yeah, 30-inch scale. And cool beans. Very cool stuff. So Warmup has something like a kit available. Kit parts available. So PGK is next on the list here. And PGK is Precision Guitar Kits. And I believe the very famous Andrew Baina works for them, maybe in marketing or something like that. But he's somehow hooked in, I think, with Precision Guitar Kits. And they have a 28-inch scale bass 6 kit. Oh, look at this. I didn't activate that link. Bam. Bam. Let's go there. And it is a JM style, Jazzmaster style kit. And it is 28 point. Oh, yeah. So this is something to know about looking at precision guitar kits. You're never going to find this unless you know that it's there. And you got to go down here, scale length, baritone 28. And as far as I can tell, I've clicked on all the other ones. This is the only one with a 28-inch scale option. That doesn't mean that if you call them maybe or email them, maybe you could arrange something to get a different style. Because I think it's just all CNC in-house. I don't even, maybe they get it done in Asia and shipped over, but they may actually CNC them right there in Vancouver, Canada. But yeah, 28-inch scale Jazzmaster, not too bad, pretty cool. $319 for the whole kit. You got to put your own electronics in and all that, but you can do like a left-handed version, right? That's one of the beautiful things about all this conversion neck stuff is you can accommodate the southpaw folks. Miles does music. He's like, yeah, give me kits all day, left-handed kits. Because yeah, if you want to reign supreme, you go custom. And this is an affordable custom sort of option. So I don't know how many lefties there are in the chat or whatnot today, but yeah, definitely an option. So that's, let's get out of there. Other kits. D-Mel. This is sort of similar to the, whatchamacallit, the Warmup sort of thing. These guys, they're in Germany, I believe. Let's see here. Germany. Yeah, Germany. Wow. I don't even read anything. I just try and go from memory, even though I have it written down. So dumb. But these guys are sort of a, smaller company in Europe, and they make conversion necks for their bodies. So similar idea to the Warmup thing. It's not really a kit, but it kind of is because it only works with their stuff. So you got to get it all from them. You can put your own hardware on, but yeah, if you're in Germany and you're like, what are my options over here for kits? Well, this is sort of like a kit. The difference between Warmup and say Precision Guitar Company or Precision Guitar Kits and this and Precision Guitar Kits is the bodies, you can get the bodies finished. These guys, you may have to get a regular guitar and then the conversion neck. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, contact them and they will tell you. But yeah, the big difference is, yeah, the bodies are finished here. The bodies are also finished with Warmup, or you have the option of finished bodies. With Precision Guitar Kits, you have to do the finishing, and that's a lot of finishing. Like the amount of sanding that needs to be done on a kit is a significant amount of sanding. You don't have to use like a paint or whatever. You can use oil if you want, but yeah, like tongue oil or gunstock oil, or lemon oil, even some people use. But yeah, those are options. And then there's Pitball Guitars. This is a very popular option in the Baritone Obsessed Facebook group. And I believe with these guys, all of their kits with, just send an email and be like, I want to do this kit, like their JM, Jazzmaster style thing is their principal kit. But from what I understand, you can get any body, and with a very small fee, extra fee, you can. Pitbull Guitars not in any way connected, affiliate, endorsed. Right, got it. Great. I thought something really bad was happening there. Pitbull Guitars, American ash body, so Tele and a Strat style body. Kits. Let's go to the kits. Bam. So yeah, they have a ton of kits here. And from what I understand, you can get any one of these with a baritone neck. And I think their only option for baritone necks is 30 inches in scale, although that may have changed in the last couple months. This list is something I compiled about a year ago, actually. So, but definitely worth getting in touch. Very affordable. Like, let's just check it out there. Bam. 268 Australian dollars, and the shipping obviously is pretty significant from Australia to say Canada or USA, but not crazy because it's not that big. you know, especially it's not put together. It's a kit. So it's like a little bit of a smaller box compared to a full size finished guitar. Don't leave, get 5% off. 5%. You got me. Let's make that sale. But that's it for kits that I know of currently. Doesn't mean that there isn't others. And like I say, two of those options, the Warmup and the Dimel thing. I don't even know if I'm saying Dimel correctly. Man, I think it's time. Time for death. Death to my thirst. Not sponsored. But seeking sponsorship along with the Death Crew, myself, Miles Does Music, Gear Stuff and Things, and Nick Hill Makes Music. We are the Death Crew, and we seek to change the world through murdering our thirst. Delicious. I'm probably going to burp a lot. But anyhow, we're going to get to the comments here for a little bit and then get to the last topic. Hope you guys are having a good time and having great conversations between, commenting, like conversations, because that's awesome when that happens. Okay, you guys are. This is awesome. I love this part. Let's see. So Tyler Adams says, I don't see it being too hard to route out the neck pocket to make it fit. Measure twice, route once. It's not like everyone has a drill press and a router though. Maybe get a 4x4 in practice if you're scared. Great example, Tyler. Yes. I think, with those kinds of tools, like a router is somewhat of a precision. It requires precision and like experience of the basic things. So, using jigs and what kind of bits to use. Is it a camphor bit? Is it a plunge bit? All that kind of stuff. Drilling pilot holes with the drill. If you've done this stuff, any amount of it, then you already know kind of at least, a lot of the questions to ask. But if you're completely green to this kind of stuff, kind of what Tyler's saying, like measure twice, cut once. Well, you could take that even further. It's like research 100 times before you make any cuts, buy any tools. Tools are very inexpensive these days. When I was a teenager, tools were incredibly expensive, but now you could buy a pretty decent router for $100, like $120, at least here in Canada, probably less in the United States. So the tools are accessible, but knowing the kinds of questions to ask in terms of going about the process, thankfully there's a ton of YouTube videos. So watch a ton of those, read a few books, talk to people who've done it in things like these comment feeds. All very important. Highly recommended to try. But Tyler's example of using a 4x4, just a 4x4, like a fence post style piece of board that you get at Home Depot or wherever, whoever sells lumber in your area. And you can do a bunch of routes on that. It doesn't have to be at the end. It can just be all along the side. Do 20 routes on a, 5 foot length of board and try and get it so that the neck pocket is super tight. It's a great example in terms of practicing because you're not wasting anything valuable there. Good one, Tyler Adams. Alexis, you're taking off. I'm yawning all over the place. Much love. Be well. I'm glad to have you as always. And it's good that you're making friends in here. I'm stoked on that. Tyler, not everyone is a hands-on tool person. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it is. But, if you have the ability to try, that's amazing. Very amazing. Chisels and files are hand routers. Yeah, chisels and files. That's how People have done it. I don't know if any of you guys know Sean Heath. He's in many of the stream, like, you know, a person in many of the streams. He has a YouTube channel, and he participated in last year's Great Guitar Build Off, and he built a bass, a headless bass, and it was his first time doing it. He is an engineer by, you know, by day. So he has a, you know, I guess a technical mind, if you will. But yeah, he built a bass, and he did a lot of the work by hand with hand tools. And it was watching those videos. His channel is just Sean Heath, SHAWN. And really smart guy, but really committed. And in terms of when he built these guitars, he's built a few since, he uses hand tools. And I'm like, you're a wild man. Because precision is much more difficult with hand tools. But, you know, there's a long history of people using hand tools and doing incredible work. So definitely a thing. So we're going to get to the last point, and then we're going to just hang out in the comments. And yeah, it's all going to be party time, you know, liquid death and chilling and hanging and talking about guitars or whatever you want to talk about. We don't have to talk about the topic after the topic. But the very last thing here, this is the funnest part for me. I'm curious to know who else is interested in this topic. This is something that I'm deep in exploration on currently, and it is bass modification conversions. People are like, oh, what's up with the mods? What's up this modding baritones thing? Well, it's modding a bass to a baritone, to a long scale guitar, you know, through the bridge and the nut. And where I first came to know about this was Admiral Angry and Black Sheep Wall. Whoa! Let's that was so loud. I'm sorry. I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if we can get a clearer frame. Oh, come on. So I don't want to play it because the audio is terrible. It's very poor visual here. But at one of these frames, there we go. Bam. Okay. So this is quite a while ago, 2011, and obviously the show was earlier than that. But these guys, they took bass guitars. This is a 34-inch scale bass, and they converted them to guitars. They just put guitar bridges and machine heads on them and tuned super low. And the bass was just tuned in unison to the guitars. But they did it in a 7-string configuration, but you know, you could do it in a 6-string configuration. And there are a whole bunch of people doing this these days, and it's pretty sick. It's more popular with 30-inch scale, short scale basses, but I'm like, why stop there? Why not go 34-inch scale? 32-inch scale is you can find, but 34-inch scale is very common bass scale, the most common bass scale. And yeah, you could use the lightest strings in the world to go down to, you know, G, F sharp, probably E, like way lighter than right now on my bass 6s. They're 30-inch scale. And I have to use like a 24 to 84 string set. And I just don't like how heavy that is. The tone is not ideal. It is what it is. It's what I got to do. And I just like try to be creative with it. I don't sit around complaining, but I would like more scale. So I've been really deep into this, converting a bass into a baritone guitar. And quite a few people are doing it. This is a 30-inch scale Bronco that this fella has. I don't know if he has a full picture of it, but these links are also in the document. I'm going to paste the bam. So if you want these links, that's them right there. Tyler Adams, thank you very much. I see what you did there. Beverage of Nar. Yeah, I'm gonna have a lager after the show. Actually, a little lager and chill out and maybe talk to my girlfriend. It's the way to live. Live good, appreciate the simple things in life. But yeah, converting a bass. This guy in this list, I got his reverb listing as well of this exact project. And bam, there it is. That's a good photo of it. How big can we make it? Nice. I find the shaping of the headstock not my favorite, but still, it turned out sick. And I would put a humbucker back here for sure. But that's a nice, clean project right there. I'm so into it. So into it. And let's move along. There's more of them here. Bam. This guy did one. Okay. We don't need to. There we go. So he started with this 4-string Bronco as well. That's a sexy little Bronco. And let's see. And yeah, here we go. He's now got it. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how clean it is in terms of the configuration, but it's done. I don't want to play it because I don't want to get any copyright strikes or anything like that. Damn it. But the link is in there if you want to check it out yourself. And yeah. And if you're wondering, like, the link is in there, Bunn, where is the link in there? It's right here. I got it for you. being a jackass. I'm sorry. But yeah, the link is there to these links. That link goes to all of these links. So if you want to do your own research. Said too much. Yeah, said too much. Another YouTuber, very smart young man. Oh, Squarespace. Sure. Who doesn't want one? Let's turn that off. And let's get past the ad here. Damn it. Okay. Said too much. Very, young guy who loves to do research and get his hands dirty and try stuff. But used an Ibanez, I guess it's a Geo series 5-string. Here we go. And this is his, he modded it out. I'm not going to play it once again for the copyright strike, or I don't know how that stuff really works. So I just don't do it. But yeah, he turned it into essentially an SRC6, which is kind of cool. Who else? Dano Longhorn. This one's cool. A lot of people don't like the Longhorns, but this guy took a Longhorn bass, which I think is 32-inch scale. And I could be wrong, but yeah, I'm pretty sure the Longhorn is 32 inches in scale, and he converted it to a guitar, which is pretty easy with the Dan Electras because the bridges are interchangeable. You can take the poles and everything. You just buy a Dano guitar bridge, and it should plop on, as far as I know. Anyway, yeah, you can do that. What else? The Beetle bass. There's a cool Beetle bass conversion here. Bam. So this is I believe this one's a 30-inch scale conversion. Once again, the links are in there. Where are the links? The links are here. Don't worry about it. Got the links here for you. But we're not going to watch everybody's videos here. I'm just showing that there are things that you can do. This one is cool. This guy, he's from Sweden or Norway or something to that effect. Scandinavian country. And he took a SG bass and he temporarily retrofit it to be a 6-string. And it turned out really well. Really, really well. And no damage or anything to the guitar. It looks funny, but he can just convert it back to a bass like same day, without significant tools. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if I would want to go do gigs with like clamped on tuners. But yeah, it's something you can do. And then this guy did a whatchamacallit, a permanent SG bass. This one's a Gibson. And this one turned out really nice. It'd be nice to have a bridge pickup in that. But that's pretty sexy right there. It's the EB, what is it? Gibson EB0. They're very expensive. He found this one smashed. The neck was smashed off, like headstock was smashed off. No surprise, it's Gibson. The neck should be smashed off. But yeah. So in the repair, he's like, I'm going to turn this into a guitar. He talks about it in the video, but it turned out amazing. Also, I think 30 inches in scale. But yeah, my interest in the bass, modifying a bass to convert it to a baritone, 6-string baritone guitar would be in the 32 to 34 inch scale realm. Once again, to get that string gauge very light, or as light as I can get away with, to get all those mids, those pillowy mids back. Because yeah, the heavy strings, they kill the mids. There is a benefit to the heavy strings in some ways, like single note lines. It can be nice for certain things, but yeah, that's the deal. Why I would convert a bass to a 6-string guitar, to get the string gauge lighter and be able to tune really low and have all of that richness in the mids. Curious what you guys got from all of that, you know? Are you interested in doing I know a few people in here who are in the process of doing conversion necks, but what about kits? Anybody building a kit? How much sanding are you doing? A lot of sanding in a kit. Unbelievable amount of sanding. Unless you go with a Warmup Bass 6 kit. It's not really a kit. It's just the only compatible products are from, in that group. But and anybody who's considered doing the bass mod. I know that there is a fella in the Baritone Obsessed Facebook group who has one of these modded bass. I believe it is an Ibanez Geo as well, 30-inch scale Ibanez with retrofit with a guitar bridge and guitar tuners, and yeah, it's jamming, and it worked out quite well for him. It's not a slick conversion, the epoxy or whatever he used to fill the peg holes in before he re-drilled it is not super smooth, but it's not terrible. It worked out. Like, he did a pretty good job. I wish I could remember the guy's name. Cosman, detachable headstock is breakaway for safety reasons. Talking about those Gibson necks, Cosman? Yeah, it's unbelievable, man. I have owned only one Gibson. Neck's broken. Actually, where is it? I put it away. I have a Les Paul here. Yeah, with a broken neck. It's glued back on. But like everyone that I've known most people I've known with Gibsons, yeah, broken headstock. Ike, you're very welcome. Ike, I wish I had the software to put the comments on the screen like I do with Nick Hill. I can't do that with my own stream, but Ike says, thanks, Bunn, for all this research. It's funny. It's just like the cumulative, collecting over many, many years. So it's, I didn't, just to be upfront about things, I didn't do it all in one big like sweat fest. But yeah, it's a culmination of many years of just collecting links and also always kind of checking up to see what's new, to make sure that the links still work and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you're very welcome. Like I say, I'm going to put it in there one more time. This is the link to all of these links. If anyone has missed it, you can, use these links to do your own research, do your own builds, do your own conversions, get inspiration, all that kind of stuff. love that this topic turned into a video. Barry Prosser. Oh, yeah. It's weird, Barry. So Barry says, I love that this topic turned into a video. It's difficult. This is a difficult topic to just do like a produced video on. I feel like this format is probably the most fluid, the most, of course there's a bunch of interruptions, or not interruptions, but sort of sidebars and all that kind of stuff. Especially me, I'm a brilliant communicator, clearly. But in this format, it kind of has to be loose because there's a lot of things to kind of cover off on, and covering everything in point form and whatever. It doesn't make for a good produced video, but I think it's an important topic that needs to be further explored. And I have made a lot of these links available many, many times in very public ways, but I find a lot of people just don't have the time to go through them or whatever. So doing it this way, I think maybe allows a person to sort of cherry pick, just kind of browse through the video and be like, oh yeah, okay, I already know the things I'm interested in, and then it focuses you down a little bit. So hopefully that's happening. Gear Stuff and Things says next build is going to be an RD 28 and 5/8. Plan to order the body from Roser soon. Oh, who's Roser? I'm going to search that. Guitars. Cause yeah, I would love an RD. Roser Guitars, LLC, eBay stores. Oh, wow. Guitar bodies. Oh, I know these guys. Right. Yeah, I know this. Let's put it on the screen here for those of you, if you're looking for more body options. And I think it's all Fender spec neck pockets. So you can put whatever Warmup neck on it you want. Where's my software here? Bam. So Roser Guitars, it's an eBay store. He's got a CNC machine and just cranking out bodies, guitar bodies, bass bodies, pick guards, and rear covers. So yeah, it's a someone with a CNC doing all this stuff. And from what I understand, Fender neck pocket for all of it. So putting a neck in it is easy. Great. Thanks, Stephen. That is a fantastic resource. Let's change back here. Bam. So LOL Nope says he wants to convert an offset Telecaster with a subsonic neck. Yeah, it should be able to be done as long as that offset Telecaster has a standard Fender spec pocket. Like, we've talked about a few times in this chat. Some Fender neck pockets don't work, but most of them do. But just double check, like really check that the neck pocket that you have works for these conversion necks, because it sucks. Black Cap, we were talking earlier today before the show, and he, was in that situation where he might have already shared this. I'm not too sure. Kits. I'm not too sure. There's a lot of conversation, but yeah, Black Cap, bought a subsonic neck and it didn't fit the body that he had. And, it's a bummer. So he was thankfully be able to send the subsonic neck back, and a Warmup neck is fitting totally fine. So even in the Fender universe, there's some stuff that doesn't really work quite right. But yeah, it's all thankfully being shared, and we can all learn from it, which is great. Sean Griffey, does anyone have a link for the Discord? Sean, I can hook that up. Let's see here. I gotta launch it. Where is it? Bam, starting. But Sean Griffey and anyone else who is interested in the Baritone Obsessed Discord. It is a shared Discord. It is between Nick Hill, myself, and Gear Stuff and Things, and a bunch of great folks that are in the stream and doing YouTube channels and all this sort of stuff. So if you're interested in getting involved in the bandless Discord, which it has multiple sections for all of these specific things, copied. And I'm going to paste it here, and it expires in 24 hours. And yeah, if you want to join the Discord, join in there. It's a place for positive, stoked people who love guitars and production and being stoked and helping each other out. And if you're those people, get into it. Tyler Adams, I've been wanting to do the Warmup Telly for a while, but the Greg Koch Gristlethorne pickups. Oh, put the Greg Koch pickups into it. Too many hours at work to actually do it someday. Yeah, that work, man, it gets in the way. Like I quit my job and I still keep going back to train the guy. I'm just like, come on, you gotta spread your wings because it's time for guitars. But Ian Gorey, I think it's a way better idea to get a conversion neck first, then get a guitar whose body can fit the neck. That's a great strategy, Ian. One of the things about going that way is I think you can kind of like just pick bodies right away that are pretty much guaranteed to work. Like the, what is it? The Guitar Fetish bodies. They seem to always work. I've known a bunch of people who've done the Guitar Fetish Warmup conversions, and the most they've ever had to do is like sand excess paint out of the neck pocket. But the neck pocket fits. It's just like the painting job was sloppy and there's like paint that has sort of thickened it up and they just have to sand the paint down. So that is an option. But yeah, if you get the neck first, finding a body for it, and bodies are cheap. Bodies are way cheaper than necks. You can find bodies as low as $80 from Guitar Fetish, and even like, $100, $120. It's not too bad. It's nothing compared to the, $500 or $600 for a neck. If you're going to go Warmup or if you're going to go higher end, the all parts stuff is good. There's nothing wrong with all parts. They make really great necks. They're a little bit cheaper, but they're just not as long. So if you're looking to go down to that, G, F sharp, even some people are pushing the 28.625 inch scale down to E. I'm not into that, but people are doing it and they're happy with it. So that can be done. A little bit more scale length really helps. So Mastro, how are you? Mastro's in the house. Some chugs for you. Baritone Cult says, hey, Bunn, what string gauge set would you use with your 30-inch scale baritone in your G tuning? That I use the Baritone lights. So if I use the SRC6 or the Jazzmaster baritone, which is 30 inches in scale for G, I use either the D'Addario or the Kurt Mangan. I have a preference for the Kurt Mangan's baritone lights. And do I have any here? I have some here somewhere. I'm going to get rid of this guitar. I'm tired of holding it. Great. But they are pretty slack. I like the slack because I like the bends and all that kind of stuff. But if you also like to hit hard, which I also like to do, you're going to get quite a bit of buzz. It's all a sort of a game of evening things out. Like, okay, I hit really hard, but I like to bend a lot. And I have this much scale length and I want to tune to this tuning. So you got to factor all of those things in and try and find something that works. And a lot of times there's a lot of players out there who are doing stuff where you know, it doesn't necessarily work really well. This is something to consider. Whatever it is they're doing, it doesn't necessarily work really well. It just works to their satisfaction. And those are two very different things. I tend to shoot for good performance, as best performance as I can afford. But I will forego the luxuries of perfect setup or perfect, you know, no buzz or whatever. I will forego some of those things depending on what it is I'm doing. Like if I'm doing my Wetlands project, this is a great thing to consider. Anyone who's going down this road, my Wetlands project is a gnarly sounding project. You know, it's super gnarly, or it has become super gnarly. It's fuzzy and gross, and it doesn't need to sound pristine in any way. If the guitars are buzzing, who cares? As long as they sustain, that's all I care about. As long as they sustain, the strings are huge, but it doesn't really matter because it's gross as F anyway. So I think factoring those things into making your decisions about things like string gauge and scale length and even pickup choices and whatnot. It's a good idea to understand like what you're going to use the instrument for, and also what you're willing to give up on in the event that maybe Death, not sponsored, need some sponsorship. Got some reach outs from Liquid Death though. They're like, hey, what's up? So that's pretty cool. Just got to take it to the next level and, you know, get cases on the daily. But Mastro, he's late, but he's here. Thanks for the chugs. I gave Mastro some celebratory welcome chugs. And yeah, the thing is that Mastro is just sick chugs all day. Art chugs too, like my flavor of chugs. Yeah, Mastro. If you don't know Mastro, check out Mastro. Blow your mind. Last single with Lindsay O. For those of you who are in the DM scene, the death metal scene, if you know Lindsay O'Connor, she and Mastro teamed up for a single. It's fantastic. It's in my playlist daily. Is that one in my regular playlist right now? There's a lot of Mastro. I don't know if that track is actually, I don't think it played today. I'm going to have to check. Gear Stuff and Things says StewMac has some great fret leveling tools. Yes. If you're in the United States, StewMac is fantastic. If you're in Canada, I'm in Canada, and solo music. It's called solo music. I'm just gonna, come on, internet. So here we go. Bam, bam. I'm gonna drop the link in there, but I'm gonna switch over just so you can see. If you're in Canada and you want luthier tools, traditionally they've been pretty tough to get because you got to get them from StewMac or whatever, and StewMac shipping to Canada takes forever. But they're solo music, and they're in Mississauga, Ontario, but they'll ship all over Canada, and they have great prices. They also sell bodies and whatnot, but they don't sell baritone necks, at least not yet. I've put in a request for them, but they sell like unfinished bodies. Stephen, actually, this is pretty, you know, Mississauga isn't that far from London. So, and they, like I say, they have great prices. Finished bodies, unfinished bodies. Let's see what they have. JB style, T style, and bam. Some of them are actual Fender bodies, and some of them are solo. Like the solo brand ones, I think are the same as the Guitar Fetish ones. Not exactly sure, but yeah, Canadian, $99. Yeah, sign me up. It's great. Even the, you know, for the Canadian price on this, $349. That's a good price. So I don't know what they're doing, what these solo guys are doing, but if you're in Canada and you're looking for a place to buy tools and parts, this is great. They don't have baritone necks yet. So you're still kind of SOL there. But Roser Guitars, main camera. Great. Canada, yeah, I'm just chilling out here in Canada, eating donuts and friggin' drinking maple syrup. It's friggin' right on, man. Holy. Black Cap. Can't go wrong with the standard thin profile, man. I'd recommend that route. Not sure. I think that's about next. Not exactly sure. Ike says, at the Bunn, save your page in the Facebook files area. Any summary of data goes there too. Oh, right. I will. Yeah, it's in the Baritone Obsessed files area as well. But yeah, I'll link it over there. Thank you, Ike. For those of you who don't know, there is the Baritone guitar group on Facebook as well. Ike, I need the... I'm not going to do this right now. I'm going to include it in the show notes. Mark Bark. Holy jeez. Mark Bark. I haven't seen you for a while. Hope you are well, man. C-A-N-A-D-A. That's how we spell here in Canada. Mark Bark, I think my very first ever video addressing a comment was your comment. It was about intonation, and I used the RGIB 6, I think. But yeah, good to see you in the stream, man. Hope all is well. And yeah, get low, friends of Campbell. Yeah, get very low. Get super low. Oh, Ike, you know about that Tim Hortons, eh? You know, rolling through the drive-by and doing a drive-by 4x4s. That's like going through the drive-through and getting a 4 cream, 4 sugar, extra large. Because that's what people do. No wonder people's health, you know, the health system is great just to keep all these people who drink these insane things alive. Remco, Stumac is overpriced as it is, and I live in Holland. Oh, geez. You know what's interesting, Remco? I'm going to read the rest of your comment here in a moment. But what's interesting is when I buy stuff from Stumac and I just do standard shipping, it takes about 4 to 6 weeks to get to me, which is so long. But it ships from Poland, which is weird. So I'm curious for you being in Holland, if you did standard shipping, if you would get it from like no express shipping or anything like that, just standard shipping, if you would also get it from Poland and it would be cheap. I bet you. Maybe not, but it's worthy of an experiment. Just order like, I don't know, a pick guard or something, see what happens. So it gets expensive real fast. I'm from a time when Stumac was the only option. Oh yeah. So Remco was doing, you know, parts and whatnot when Stumac was the big player in the game, the only player in the game. But those days are over. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. You can get stuff on eBay even from small sellers. And Reverb, thankful for Reverb these days, being able to contact, you know, stores, shops, and independent sellers, like maybe just a state over or a province over or just one, you know, a border over type of thing. That's, you know, it's a beautiful world that we live in now. Headed out. Anthony Nito, always good to see you. Hope you are well. And I'll catch you in the Discord. I'm going to be in the Discord tomorrow morning. So hopefully catch up with some of you cats there. Telecavity should be universal. Yeah. It'd be great if all neck pockets were universal. It'd just make the world of guitar. I should add, if all neck pockets were universal, but also very good, like a very good design. Because if they were universal and not very good, that would be terrible. But if there was some universality there, that would be fantastic. I think if I started a guitar company, it would be a Fender neck pocket spec, you know, for sure. And probably just standard standard Fender, like nothing special, not like USA standard, specific era or anything like that. The comments move fast. It's hard for me, so I apologize. But Jersey, greetings from La Paz, Bolivia. La Paz. I am in Toronto. Greetings and cheers from Toronto. I hope you're well, man. Thank you for hanging out in the stream. Mark Bark, good here. Glad you are. Yeah, dude. I'm so stoked to see you here. Yeah, that was you. That was you. Mark Bark is saying, no way. See, yes, that was me. Good to see you, bud. Yeah. Mark Bark did my first comment video, and it was Mark Bark's comment. That was probably 4 years ago, something like that. I will never forget. Gear Stuff and Things, double. We're talking about coffees. If you buy coffees in Canada, like standard issue coffees, not like boutique coffees. I like the boutique coffees. I'm got my nose up in the air that way. But every now and then I go to the Tim Hortons, the local Timmy's, and I get myself a double or a Furbifer. And, just chaw it on a few donuts and friggin' just get sneaky. Because that's how you do it in Canada. Oh, Canada. So fun. Aiden Hiller, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, did anyone else check out the new Black Sheep Wall album that dropped today? Oh, it dropped today. I did not check it out yet. Was honestly floored by it. So damn good. Maybe better than I Am God songs. Yeah, I'm going to check it out right after the stream. I'm going to make a note. It's interesting that you bring it up because, well, I guess you may have already noticed, like we talked about Admiral Angry, and it's, what's his name? Damien? No, Daniel. Daniel from Black Sheep Wall went on to do Admiral Angry, and they were doing those super long bass converted to baritones a long time ago. Black Sheep Wall. I just got to make a note here. I'm going to write it down. Actually, I'm not going to type it all. Use a pen and paper. Black Sheep Wall. Got to listen to it right after the stream because that is some incredible stuff. Black Sheep Wall. For those of you not in the know, it's really crushing, kind of artsy, it walks on the borderline of many things. And what I've heard of the sample from this latest record is a huge surprise. No one knew it was going to happen. But what I heard in it was really nice. Of the sample that was released about a month ago. And yeah, pretty excited for it. Aiden says it's killer, so it's probably killer. 10:33. Okay, we're good. Artsy sludgecore hardcore band from California, formed mid 2000s. Yeah, they're so interesting. They remind me of kind of like how art happens in the Midwest, even though they're from California. Something that's interesting about the Midwest of the United States is also kind of true for Midwest Canada, but more so for the United States because there's just more people there. And it's quite middle class, so there's more middle class people live in houses, sometimes with basements or at least some space to, do a band. So bands are more typical to pop up in those places, or at least they used to be. But yeah, often in the Midwest, you get a lot of like really creative projects that come up. And a lot of times it never makes the mainstream or it never really breaks out. But I'm always looking for those things. So I've long known about many of those things. There's a band called Coalesce from Kansas that was like really important and really, really creative. And there's a ton. The National Acrobat is also from the Midwest. They were amazing. But there's tons and tons of Midwest bands that were just so creative. And, one thing that we see a lot in modern heavy music is there's a lot of stuff that sounds the same. And people seek to do what other people have done, which is interesting. But I think, creativity is still alive and well. If you're on Bandcamp, you can find creativity pretty easily. But I'm stoked that this band is still creative this many years later. Black Sheep Wall is what we're talking about. And yeah, they got that Midwest thing, even though they're a California band. Jersey. I don't know what I'm saying. Jose, hope you are well. I did not see you in the comments yet. I'm just noticing, but I hope things are well. Yes, he's speaking to Beard Guy, that bong ripper, and bunch of haters. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know. Maybe you're not actually talking about Bong Ripper. Bong Ripper is a fun band. Instrumental like Doom, Sludge. Gear Stuff and Things. Coalesce is amazing. Yeah, Coalesce is that Functioning on Impatience record. Come on. That's like a unbelievable record. And yeah, there's so many. Bloodlet. Who's into Bloodlet? Especially early, or I would not say even early Bloodlet. I'd say mid Bloodlet, just before they shut her down and for a while, and then they came back. But they did that Seraphim Fall record. That's an amazing record. I'm not crazy about the vocals. I usually don't. Sometimes I like vocals, like some Coalesce, like Functioning on Impatience vocal stuff is amazing. I don't know why, but it just gets me going. But it doesn't even matter. Coalesce, all that stuff. Amazing. Jose says, actually, if anyone does know what the deal is, I almost just got a regular scale SG and slapped 72s on it, but I'm afraid when I get to the 12th fret, it will get gnarly. Yeah, that's just what's going to happen. 72s on an SG. It's going to be issues with sustain too. But whatever, just make it work, man. Make it work. Have fun. Like make riffs, have fun. You're even saying, yeah, in a fun way. Yeah. The tuning will be no hell, but whatever. If that's all you got, make music and get stoked. Make sick riffs. The Beard Guy says, what inspires you for Foreign's cover art for the single and EPs, and what programs do you use? Musically, I think can answer all of that pretty easily, I guess, pretty fast. But musically, my interests are always in, definitely all the artsier bands, and a big band that contributes to the sound of Foreign's would be Mare. Mare was kind of like where the light went on about doing things really melodically, but pretty low tuned and heavy, and slow. And then, but I like a lot of the California pop, like fast pop punk, like NoFX and Lagwagon and No Propaganda, the earliest stuff when it was all still really riffy and tricky. I loved that stuff, but it was all short. So I write really short songs because I just love the way that all of that music was crafted, especially, like I say, the trickier stuff, lots of stops and all that kind of stuff. But I was really into, the late 90s, early 2000 post-hardcore stuff. A band that's big for me from there is obviously Coalesce, but also this thing called 400 Years. 400 Years was from Richmond, Virginia. Not originally, but they settled in Richmond, Virginia. And there's a lot of things that I do in my music that kind of borrows from or is inspired by that in a pretty big way. And it's just a mix of a whole bunch of things. I tend to not listen to music in my space too much, like currently, so that I can be creative in my space. I try to pull from things that are either long gone or outside of the music scene that I'm kind of, or music style that I'm shooting for. So that's musical inspiration. With art and all that kind of stuff, I was a graphic designer for a really long time, and I'm not as good as I maybe once was, I'm not as excited about what I do with graphic design now as I once was. I think I did way too many brochures and way too much corporate work for way too long, and it kind of soured my more artistic side. But I'm, now that I have a lot more time, I can probably put myself more into graphic design, and I really like illustration. And late 90s, early 2000 renaissance of the DIY music scene, there was this like, surge of new ideas in design. And I kind of still maybe think back to that, just the essence of what drove it. David Carson was a big influence to all of that. He was the guy who laid out Ray Gun Magazine, if anyone remembers Ray Gun Magazine. And David Carson is a huge inspiration for art and programs. Really, I just use the most creator-friendly programs. So for music production, I use Reaper because I feel like it is in line with the artist. It is it's low barrier in the cost. It's incredibly powerful and infinitely configurable. Like, you can actually write scripts to use it any way you want. It is very creator friendly that way. And it works really, really well. It's a very professional DAW, even though the price is very accessible. So it's, to me, that just says artist all over it. And for film stuff, I usually use DaVinci Resolve. It's not really to do with music specifically, but if anyone's wondering, I use DaVinci Resolve for that because it has incredible color tools and just incredible tools. It's an incredible suite. And then for graphic design, I've been using the Affinity software. So I don't know. It comes up in the doc here, but I'm not on that screen. But Affinity Designer and Affinity Photo. And Affinity Designer has a few bugs that I don't like, but I can resolve some of that by using Inkscape. I used to use Illustrator, of course, Illustrator and Photoshop, but I don't feel like Adobe is an artist first company. So yeah, I go with Affinity Photo, Affinity tools. So all of that said, I don't really care what the tools are. I just want them to work the way that they're supposed to work. And I'm going to put my money in the thing that has artists in mind. And what I mean by artists is like people who are creative first, and it doesn't matter if they make money or not. Some artists are very successful and can afford, very expensive things. A lot of artists are just interested in being creative. There are tons and tons of artists who are not interested in building a business around their creativity. And that is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that idea. But what's interesting is in the past, you needed to have some financing. You needed to come from wealth. You needed to be successful in order to afford to use, a lot of these tools. But now, thankfully, there are companies that they're built around the quantity of people that are interested in using their tools, who are happy to pay. What's interesting about Photoshop is forever people could not pay, so they would just try and crack it, use hacks and cracks. And they're the most like Photoshop is probably the most hacked and cracked software ever in history. That and maybe Flash for a long time. Flash was very popular and people would just hack and crack it. But if they've just had like an artist model, like in their business plan, they could have just sold all of it, because people are happy to pay for Affinity. People are happy to pay for Reaper, because it's like no big deal. I've paid for Reaper I don't know how many times because it's easy. So that's I'm kind of on a tangent here, but I feel like it's important to talk about, because yeah, there's powerful tools that are very artist friendly, and those are the ones that I like. I'm sitting in the dark here. But yeah, tangent. Apologies on that. What time is it? 10:46. We're going to shut her down at 11. I'm going to get like Hangout in the Bloodlet is a band. Yeah, Bloodlet is, Remco says Bloodlet is a band. Yeah, Bloodlet is awesome. Seraphim Fall. I'm going to Sarah, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Fall. Seraphim Fall, Bloodlet. Bam. Videos. Is there a... I don't know. This is them. I'm not going to play it because I don't want a copyright strike, but I'm just going to put the link in there if you're interested in finding out more about Bloodlet. Very, very creative, particularly this album. It might be a difficult listen for some people, but if you're interested in creativity, there's a lot of it going on in there. Adobe is the worst. Well, Miles does music. Adobe is the worst. Adobe, I think their current practice is the result of their past situation, like kind of like a bully or being bullied. You know, they've been cracked and hacked so much that is the only thing that they're thinking about. We cannot afford to be cracked and hacked. We are the most pirated software in the history of software. We can't afford that. We must do anything and everything to prohibit that. And, you know, the easiest way for that not to happen is just make your stuff accessible. It's not like it's a Lamborghini. You know, it's just a piece of software. Lamborghini, it's like handmade by, I don't know, 10 people or something like that. And they only sell like 10 or 20 of them a year, maybe more, but you know, they only make so many, and it's unbelievably expensive to make it. And they're like, not only do we have to pay for everything that's involved in making it, but we got to make some money so that we can make another car. So that we can keep going. So it, you know, Adobe, they're just selling software. You can sell software over and over and over and over and over again. A single iteration of it. And if you just made it accessible, people would buy it all the time. But like Reaper is a great example, because I've purchased Reaper probably at least 10 times in the last 6 years for various computers. And sometimes as a version lapses, you get so many so many upgrades until you get to a new version, and then you have to purchase the new version. But it's like no big deal. It's $60 every time. I don't know, I've probably given them $1,000 in the last 10 years or so. But yeah, so Adobe, they make some good stuff. Stuff that I'm really used to using. I'm really fast in Photoshop and Illustrator, but I've been working with those kinds of tools for so long that I can work with any graphics stuff. It doesn't really matter to me. And building a fast workflow in a new program doesn't take very long. It takes like a couple days, maybe a day. But yeah, Adobe isn't the worst, but they're not, you know, they're just like, they're scared. Their fear is why they price themselves the way they do, why they structure themselves the way they do, because they've been bullied for so long. They've been pirated for so long, so hard. They're still pirated. That's the other interesting thing. They have all these measures to not be pirated, and people still pirate it. It's amazing. Miles does music. I don't want to change, but I hate them. Yeah, a lot of people locked in. A lot of people worried about changing. I would say if you're pretty fluent in them, if you're pretty fluent with the concept that drives them, like what is image editing and what is vector creation and vector editing, Illustrator and Photoshop or anything else, video editing, what is video editing, what is sound recording, it's the same from thing to thing to thing. People get really worried about jumping from one DAW to the next. I'm like, it's just another DAW. Some are clunkier than others, but it still functions the same. You know, some are less featured than others, whatever. But like, I feel like I can record a track that sounds exactly like me in any DAW, other than maybe it has to have VSTs, obviously. But what is that really? Audacity. I don't know how much I could do with Audacity. Like I got to run fake drums, right? But yeah, don't hate, create. Someone else asked what Bloodlet is. Yes, Bloodlet is amazing. Viper 2. I love that Viper baritone for Jizzy Pants playing experience. I have just a regular 400 series Viper. Black Cap is saying that the E2 Viper is unbelievable. But yeah, the 400 series Viper baritone is a sick guitar. I don't know I think they're still making it. I think it's available this year. For a while it wasn't available, but I think it's still available, or at least available in 2021. It's short, but it's a really nice guitar. YouTube copyright strike? Oh, whatever. At least you'll be able to find more about Bloodlet from that. So I shared a YouTube link, and I think there's a copyright hold on it or something like that. But hopefully you can find out more about Bloodlet from just having that information. Ike, in Byo group, we need a file with a list of bands to check out for bear use. Oh, that's a good one. I feel like it's a tough one. Maybe not. I don't know. Just thinking about it, I'm like, well, it's going to take a while for me to do, or for anyone to do. But yeah, people can contribute to it. And yeah, maybe we'll make a group list of like cool baritone bands to check out. Baritone Cult likes that idea. Miles Does Music says Premiere Pro is like a Lamborghini if it crashes consistently or constantly. Or if it crashed. Yeah, I stopped using Premiere Pro like 10 years ago. But it's always been a buggy thing. I don't know why anybody likes it. Some people, I think what happens is people just get used to it and they're scared to change. But whatever, doesn't matter. Use what you got. And if you got Premiere Pro, use it. Oh, Thomas Powell dropping in to say, what up? Kill it, y'all, dog. Amazing. Thomas Powell, you're the best. Baritone Cult, Quicksand. Yeah, Quicksand was great. Such good grooves. Oh. I've been with the Definites for years now. Is the bass player from Quicksand the bass player in Deftones? Is it really? I didn't know that. Wild. Yeah, Quicksand. I loved Quicksand. Ray Cappo was in Quicksand, I'm pretty sure, from Youth of Today. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. In the last few years over Baritone, Gear Stuff and Things. Wow. Get good drums. What do we got? Beer Guy. Bunn does meditation. Be one with the Bunn. Don't hate, create. Yeah, it's true. I do. I meditate every single day. Actually, I didn't meditate today. I didn't have time, which is a bad excuse. It's a good idea to make time for meditation because, you know, I don't do a spiritual meditation. I'm not I shouldn't say, I'm not going to say that I'm not a spiritual person. I don't identify with any spiritual system or anything like that. Specifically, I'm a staunch kind of science person, but yeah, meditation just for like quietness of the mind, and balanced sort of feeling of the body, relaxation of all the muscles in the body, and of the mind, just getting centered, I guess, and not saying that in a new age kind of way, to like an actual, just like getting balanced, getting chill, making sure that you're like in the moment, so that you can put yourself to technical tasks, creative tasks, all that kind of stuff with a very healthy focus. So meditation, yeah. Should everyone do it? It's worth exploring. Maybe it's not for everyone. I feel like it is for everyone, but some people are not patient enough or comfortable enough. Whatever, find your way. Todd Adams, I tried Ubuntu Studio once, didn't get very far. I'd rather pay for something that just works than save a couple bucks and waste time on a ridiculous learning curve. Yeah, so Ubuntu Studio, going the Linux route. So in terms of just like the basics of recording, all of the things that you already know about recording ring true. The difficulty with Ubuntu is, or going the Linux route, is that a lot of the VST tools that have become commonplace. So drum programs specifically, and if you rely on something like a bass synthesis type of thing, like Loki bass or Eurobass or whatever, something that emulates bass, those things typically don't really run in the Linux environment. I'm pretty sure they don't run because they're Windows specific things. And there's certain Windows or Mac, there's certain things that you can run in Wine, Windows. It's not a Windows emulator or whatever. It's like an emulation type of thing, but it's not an emulation. But it's called Wine, runs in Linux. And you can run some of these types of things in Wine, and some things work really well. A lot of things don't work really well. But the problem with going Linux is like immense compatibility issues and routing, audio routing and signal routing and whatnot in the Linux environment. There's a lot to know about how to make it all work. So if you're thinking about going Linux, if you're recording standard bands, so if you're recording real drums, if everything is just being recorded with mics and an interface, you can make it work really well. But if you're relying on virtual instruments and all that kind of stuff, there is virtual instruments available in Linux, in the Linux environment, but not to the extent that we're used to them. So what Tyler shares here in terms of it does, in terms of trying things that are kind of like cheaper or whatever. I don't even necessarily think it's about cheaper. I think it's more about, because like Reaper is not very expensive. It has a cost. Ubuntu Studio is not, there's no cost. It's completely open source with the option to support. But, you can use the Reaper trial forever, indefinitely. And I know some people who do. I'm like, dude, it's $60. Come on. You rely on this thing and you have a lot of money. And some people eventually pony up, but yeah, just like going with a system that has a good track record for the type of thing you want to do. That part is important. Like, what kind of music do I want to make? What kind of tools do I need to rely on to make that kind of music? And what system is going to be the best system? There sometimes will be multiple options in a category. And then maybe at the end of that criteria is price. I have quite a bit of money to spend, or I have, enough money to spend, or I have very little money to spend. But I think even in the PC Mac world, you can still, and not going Linux. Obviously, Linux runs on anything, but in the traditional Windows, Apple world, I think you can still do things economically in those spaces. For very little money, especially now. There's like amazing drum programs and amp sims and stuff, and even DAWs. There's free DAWs that are pretty good. So yeah, interesting time. But understanding what you want to do is very, very important. And Linux, if you're going to try and sit here and produce with fake drums and fake amps, Linux isn't the best choice. But if you're going to record bands in a studio with mics, it'll work great. So yeah. Tim Wheeler, good night. Good to see you. Hope you are well. Mal says, I think I'm the only guy I've seen using Reason for a DAW. Yeah, I was wondering about that actually, Miles, because, in the things that we're all talking about here, like you, me, and the crew, the death crew, I was like, I wonder what kind of DAW Miles uses. And I watched a few of your videos and looked at the screen. I'm like, he's using Reason. And yeah, Reason, like the synth racks, all the instruments, amazing. I've never really thought about using it as a DAW, but it would be sick to fool around with, specifically just to use the instruments that are built in and see what kind of tracks I could make that are not guitar based kind of stuff. I'd love to. I'm going to fool with it. I think Yamaha owns Reason now. Hey, it's like a Yamaha Cubase Line 6 conglomerate of companies. Baritone Cult, I meditate to my metronome. Easy to trance out. Yeah. It's funny. Like, I think it might've been yesterday. I don't know. In the last couple days, I've been cramming on some new music, some new foreigns music. And what happens when I do that is obviously I try a lot of different ideas, and I always just try them to a click. And sometimes I have to work them out to the click. But it was just like the click was pretty slow, and it was pretty concentrated on these parts and getting the feel and the transitions right. And for so long, and I was like nodding out play while the click's going and playing guitar, but I was like falling asleep. I'm like, what is happening? Pretty wild. FL Studio. Yeah, FL Studio is actually pretty sick with the, Nick Hill says, Studio One is my favorite, but I love Reaper, Logic, FL Studio even. Yeah, FL Studio, I used to F with it, but I think I'm going to go, cause it's so cheap. It's sort of like Reaper, and they have crazy like synths and all that kind of stuff. And I want to make some music that is not guitar based at all, just to kind of put my creative brain into a different workflow for a bit. Bam, Tom, 11:05. We're going to shut her down here in a moment. Love the workflow. Tom says he loves the workflow in FL Studio. Yeah, apparently it's really slick now. Nick Hill and his son have been effing with it a lot, so it's kind of come back to, I don't know, the front of my attention, and I was like, whoa, FL Studio really stepped up the game. And Baritone Cult shares, Tomo Fujita Music is a killer channel for theory. If anyone is interested, 27-year-old professor at Berkeley University. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, if you can teach at Berkeley, like, you must be pretty good. Super sick. But I am going to cut her out here. Going to shut her down. I hope today's episode was, or live stream, is it an episode? I don't know. It's just more of a hangout. I love the hangout part. But yeah, I'm going to shut it down. I hope some of the stuff we covered was helpful, useful to some of you, hopefully all of you, or just a good hang. It's nice to see that you're all making pals. The Discord, for anyone who is interested in joining the Discord with myself, Nick Hill, Gear Stuff and Things. We all have various channels in there. I know Discord is not for everyone, but it is for those who want the Discord and like the Discord. I'll be in there tomorrow morning. And yeah, Nick Hill's stream is tomorrow night. It's a little bit later, I believe 10 p.m. Central Time. And I'm usually in that stream. I'm going to be doing double duty tomorrow night. I'm going to be hanging out with my girlfriend and also dipping in and out of Nick's stream. But I hope to see a bunch of you there. As always, amazing hanging out. Very stoked to see you guys making friends, being pals. You can continue the conversation in the Discord. And if you don't like the Discord, exchange emails and stuff. I don't know, do something. Friendships and building connections is very important, especially at this time in history, more than ever. Anyhow, I'm going to cut out. Amazing night. I hope you're all well. I hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. I do that stream with Nick on Wednesday, but I'll post about that if you're interested in the bandless stuff. It will also be in the bandless Discord. Have a good night. Cheers.